before the video starts, I just want to say quickly that there was a few errors on my end while recording. Now, I'm not used to recording with another person, but when I do, I use Streamlabs, and for some reason, Streamlabs likes to not work quite a bit. Now, the last time I used Streamlabs, it worked, but the times before it did not, which, if you guys have been to sub for a long time, resulted in a very choppy video that I can't see while recording. I can only see it when we literally finished recording, and me and my guest here have gone through about an hour or so, and I didn't want to have him do the hour again. So the information is going to be great if you're listening to it and you just want to know about all the starlights. However, the video itself is going to look very choppy because of that, and it's pretty bad, honestly. It's going to look like I'm lagging, all that, but you could probably get some funny moments if you decide to watch it. But I want to apologize for that issues. In the future, moving forward, what I'm going to do is I actually uninstalled Streamlabs because this is not the first time it's happened, and that actually quite infuriates me. So I'm going to use some different services and see what I can do from there in order to get people to kind of pick up and all that. And hopefully that works because I'm just not used to collabs and things like that. So hopefully you guys understand why there's going to be issues with this one video. And I will see you guys in the video. Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakuraso here, coming at you guys with a Starlight Rare Market Watch. It feels like almost every day or every second day you guys are asking me to go over Starlights and all that, and I always love to do special market watches, be it Astral Pack, Starlight Rare OTS packs, and I realized that last month I didn't have a special market watch, so to make it up to you guys, I brought a very special guest over here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hey guys, this is Chinese TCG Store. Thanks for inviting me. First of all, pretty excited about doing this market watch. But if you guys aren't familiar with my channel, I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Market watches as well as some Yu-Gi-Oh! Openings and occasionally deck profiles. But I think primarily you know me from market watches. But glad to be here.
Yeah, and his channel will be in the description below. He makes some pretty good market watches, and you guys know how I like to shit on people who make market watches sometimes. Like, I'm pretty harsh with my opinion, so if I give my stamp of approval on someone, you know, I think it goes a long way. Let's just say that. So, trying to get him to 400 subs. He's at 318 right now. And tell me if you guys like him, as well as what you guys think about this video. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe. If you have not already, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers. If you're buying any cards off TCG Player, please use my affiliate link down in the description below. Helps out the channel to no additional cost to you. And thank you to all my YouTube channel members. And we're going to get right into this. So Appollousa, Bow of the Goddess, Starlight Rare here is you got a PSA 10 for 3,700, which is fair. But then we hit $10,000 here. I will always tell people this. There is a point with cards where I would rather just take that money into a stock market or a CD or some other investments. And this is the amount that I'm talking about. You know, unless I personally love the card and I have some type of affinity for it. A lot of people who wanted this card already have it, or they bought into this card trying to resell it, because once you look through the sales, and this is TCG Player only, mind you, which, it doesn't account for eBay or in-person sales, but a lot of people look at TCG Player for sales because it's the best place to sell cards. We're seeing the middle of April here, 1,500, and we're seeing sales. We're seeing a fluff sale here. That's probably, Korean Prismatic here. But we're seeing anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. It's not going to sell at 5,000 plus or more at any consistent basis, in my opinion. But what do you think, Chansey?
So I guess my thing is when this card did dip down towards like 750, I thought that was fair. But when you look at like $10,000, and this is the case with any investment, if you're going to stick that much money into this market, you might as well just diversify your portfolio and get a bunch of things instead of just sticking it all into one card. I don't really think it's gonna ever sell for 10,000, at least not anytime soon. So I think it's just a poor investment at this point. Um,
Exactly. That's exactly the way I see it. It's better to have to spread your investments rather than just to go all in. And that's not just a rule for investing in Yu-Gi-Oh, mind you. That's an investment rule that you will find in other places like the stock market. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, essentially. IP Masquerena. Now, this is the second best Starlight. Now, I really want to get one of these, but I didn't want to spend 600-700 on it. I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can make a deal with someone in person. I went to events. Nothing ever happened, and I'm sitting at a 1450 price tag if I still want IP. And personally, a little too much for my blood for a card that I only play on occasion. And I know my favorite art is actually her on the motorcycle. What do you think? Do you like this art or the one with her on the motorcycle?
Um, I guess tricky question. I like this artwork, but I think the other one might be slightly better. But my problem is I just wouldn't be caught dead with the gold rare. There's just
That's
so
how.
many good.
Yep, that's exactly how I think a lot of people see it, bro. Like the goal, especially when it starts peeling, all that. If they made it a prismatic secret rare, would you go all in on all art?
Definitely, for sure. I would love to get an alt art.
Yeah.
Whether it's secret rare, prismatic secret rare, or starlight, even ultimate rare. I think ultimate rare would be gorgeous.
Oh, ultimate rare. Oh, if they make the bike as an ultimate rare, yo, Konami making good decisions for their OTS. It's been a little bit. Man, do you own any Starlight rares, by the way?
I do. I do have a handful. Yeah,
All right, let me know when we come across a Starlight rare that you have. So
definitely. Yeah.
when the Wind Charmer Verdant, now a lot of players, especially in the TCG, have finally come to the realization, even though I've been saying this for a year plus, that Charmers will be worth money, right? They're a little slow in the update, but now that the mainstream's kind of got their hands on that idea, we're seeing Starlight Charmers hit the moon. Win right over here, easily being the worst Charmer by far, is $1,400. I mean, it comes out of a set that has, extremely expensive Starlight rares, and it is the first set that has Starlight rares as well. So it is a Charmer card, even if it is the worst. So 1,400 over here for her. I personally would not be buying that. Just a little too much here. Now, Area the Water Charmer. I actually always told people to grab this. I told people, hey, spend your 300, grab it. It's going to go up to 1,000 in the next 2 years. Now, I think I was a little off of 2 years. It was roughly about 2.5 years. But, and it's roughly hit 945, 975, and then we're hitting 1250. We have no PSA copies so far, which is really unfortunate. But water is a fan favorite archetype. It's not the best attribute up, but it is, certainly up there. And this is my favorite charmer personally. I'm glad I was able to get one for 300. What do you think of the charmers in general?
So I like the Charmers. Personally, I would invest at these prices, but I was a big. I tried to get people to invest in when some of them were really low in price, like the Earth Charmer, definitely the new Dark Charmer.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else. I think those were the two main ones that were. Oh, Hita as well. Hita, and Hita is actually my favorite looking one. If I was going to buy one, it would probably be that. But at these price points, I wouldn't buy any of them. But they were all pretty much the easiest investment call you could make. Because if you're going to buy one, you're going to have either multiple or all. The goal would be to have all of them if you want to buy a few of them. So,
I feel like because they are generic cards in a sense
mhm.
that it's not bad to get certain ones over other ones. Like I'd rather if I had to spend my money, I would choose better attribute ones. Now people like collecting all the charmers, but I don't think that's necessary if you want like turn a profit. Per se.
If you want to turn a profit, no, I'm talking about people that actually want to keep them. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, get one of each. No, I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
740 for triple tactics over here. I think that this card is good. It's just sometimes it ends up being a dead card. I've play tested with this card quite a bit, and there are times where if I get Ash Blossomed and they ash my bait, and then I play Talent, it's so great. Especially because if I know I still have my combo, I'll actually look at their hand instead of drawing two. I know the draw two is like, well, it's a +1, right? You
Mhm.
could do more. And yeah, that's wonderful, but if you could look at your opponent's hand and then choose one card to shuffle into the deck, and that could be another hand trap you don't have to play around, or a starter, they're going to end up with 4 cards in their hand during their turn, and they have 4 cards to break your combo. But you also will figure out what they're playing. Are they playing Tearlament? Are they playing Sprite? What are they playing Salad? You guys get the point. And that info game is probably just as good, if not better, than Shuck putting 1 card. Because you'll know exactly what you need to stop. You don't have to kind of go rinse and repeat. But Starlight Rares, I feel like this card is just, it's very hard because you have to get a playset of this card to play. And people might not want to play a card that, a playset being over 2,000. What do you think about that, Chansey?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like I don't expect it to really go down much, but I also don't expect it to really move back up very much. Like people definitely are going to play. It's a great card, I think. Definitely depends on the format, but I just don't think it's worth investing into right now. Definitely when it was down towards like 320, 350, right when it came out would have been the time to get it, but I think the ship's kind of sailed at this point.
Man, I regret not getting it at 350. To be honest with you here, I really do. But becoming a vendor slowly but surely here, I have to say that when you first start out, you just don't have all the money in the world to buy whatever you want, especially personal versus what you want to sell later. You have to be able to flip stuff the same day, right? That's the way I vend all that. I can't just hold on to a car for 2 years sometimes. Will I? Yes, but it's usually preferable not to. But I do wish I scraped up the money to maybe get at least a few Starlight rares like Veilers. I saved up for Veilers, but I ended up having to let one go um, earlier. But I made my profit on it at $800. You think Veiler could hit 1,000?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, personally, I would much rather I have the ultimate rare. Would
Oof.
much rather have the ultimate rare, but the Starlight looks nice. It's from
First
Eternity
Eds?
Code, not first ed. No,
Ah,
I should have gone for the first. It was because when I bought it, the near mint unlimited was $85,
I see. And what were first Eds at the time?
150.
I mean, at least there's a difference there. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, there was a difference. Like I wouldn't have like I ordered off TCG Player. It was actually right when the first stimmy checks came out.
yeah, wow. Yeah, man. I remember someone offered me they had a first set playset, and he wanted 315 for it, and I was like, nah, that's too close to full value. I'd rather just wait on another opportunity. And this was back in I think 2019, and then
Similar timing, yeah.
basically, yeah. I see you. Starlight Ecclesia 625. Now here's my issue with Ecclesia, right? Is that this card has ultis right now at about $35, right? And I'm actually going to
Yeah.
show you guys that right over here. Not even, well, we have mob plays here, never mind. 35, 37 here. I would rather say get, multiple play sets, say 6, 7 play sets, right? Of the ultimate rare, because I think that even if the Starlight say goes to 8, 900 or even 1,000, if the ultis could go up to 70, 80s, back to that, you're going to turn way more of a profit and you're going to have more copies. So you could slowly start to offload. If they go up again to like say 100, because the Dogmatica engine I think is still quite good, you'll be making more money that way. That's personally how I see it. What do you think about that, Chansey?
I definitely agree, and this is probably going to be a weird point, but I kind of hate shipping items that are over $500 as well. So even if it does go to 700, I have to carry the risk of shipping a $700 item to one person that I, have to trust that they're gonna, not try to cheat me over.
Yeah, and that's like a big thing with online selling, just in general. That's why I'm really happy that I'm in Chicago and I have a community that I can move like higher end cards to.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll probably have a video about that because I understand why people are worried about that. Now, Stardust Dragon, I think is a no-brainer. This is gonna hit $1,000, either we like it or not. Especially because people have opened up quite a bit of Dawn of Majesty now, and we have less Dawn of Majesty out there than we did when the boxes were like $50 and they were essentially free. Boxes are now about $70, and people even to this day are like, I could get a lot of despised stuff out of that, a lot of branded stuff. So, I remember I opened up 2 boxes. I'm like, let me see if I could get an Aluber for stream for fun, and we actually ended up pulling a Starlight Logith, which I found pretty hilarious. Uh,
That is,
I actually invested into one of them by myself. I was like, I want $80. I ended up trading for it. Was really happy about that. Ended up getting rid of that one because I'm like, I'd rather keep the one I pulled. By far. That's how I am. But what do you think of Starlight Stardust?
so Stardust. So I guess going back, 5Ds is my favorite season. I think, um, which is odd because it's kind of like past my childhood a little bit, but I love
Yeah,
5Ds, and Stardust Dragon's probably my favorite monster in the game. I definitely want one of these. It's just so expensive.
yeah, man.
But to your point of to Dawn of Majesty being $70, um, you might think, well, there's not really much value left in that set after like everything got reprinted as far as Despia's. But the damage was done, months ago when
Exactly.
um, what was it? The Despia card was $120
Yeah, Looper. Yeah,
per
that was
copy.
insane.
Yeah, and when that happened, I figure a bunch of people went and bought these up and were opening them up to try to pull that and sell. So I imagine the damage is done as far as inventory on sealed product. So probably whatever Stardust dragons have been or out there to begin with are probably mostly pulled. There's probably still some sealed left, but I think probably a big dent in inventory after $120
Well,
Alibers.
yeah, this was a set that didn't really sell much on release either. That's like the issue. So I think the buyouts balanced it out because it wasn't just a Looper. We had super rares being $28, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had ultra rares being 14s, right? We had some other value in the set as well besides Despia, and it was a really profitable box to open. It was really nice. We got prosperities here at about 600. I think that this card will hit 1,000 eventually, but the biggest issue with Pop Prosperity is there's a lot of Blazing Vortex out there because it's probably one of the worst core sets we've gotten over the last couple of years. I don't know if you would agree with that statement or not.
Yeah, definitely the worst set we've gotten in a long time. Besides Ancient Guardians, but for a core booster set, yes,
Yeah.
probably the worst set we've gotten last year.
I like Black Rose. My issue is I have Ghost Rares of this Stardust, but I don't know. I want to Starlight Black Rose, but I'd rather it's one of those things as a vendor where I'm like, dude, I'd rather just buy cards to just profit, and then if this comes my way, I can figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I
Like
agree.
there comes a point where you want to try to get it in person, especially. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
line is at 624. I think this is too much for the card personally, but I understand why it's this amount. Light is considered the second best attribute in the game, dark being the first. And this Charmer, it helps with Lich, it helps with like a bunch of other cards and decks as well. Like let's see, it's 624 going up to 790, going up to 800. If you want to grab your copy to be sure, that's fine. But I really put emphasis on people getting this at 300. I don't know if you watch my market watches back then, but I kept telling people like it's gonna go to 500-600. Could even hit $1,000. It's the best, what second best, Charmer, and I was just waiting for the dark one. You know,
Yeah, definitely agree.
yeah,
I still think that it probably will go a little bit higher. I don't know if it'll hit 1K, but I think it could definitely go higher. It's definitely, like you said, it's the second best Charmer by,
yeah,
I guess, competitively. I don't know if everybody thinks that it's the best artwork, but competitively, I would definitely argue it's the second best.
yeah. Crows are bought out. 680 over here, going up to 720. I saw this coming because it's a hand trap. It's just this was probably one of the most overlooked cards in Rise of the Duelist, in my honest opinion. And this card looks gorgeous. Like as a Starlight Rare, I think Starlight Rare fits it better than Ulti. And if you guys don't know, I love Ultis more than Starlights. But when it comes to Crow, if you've seen them both in person like me, Starlight is the way to go. What do you think of Starlight Crow?
I do think it looks really nice. I did personally own. I guess I probably went through 4 or 5 Ultimate Rare first editions, and I just love the way those look. The foiling is like it's like the old classic foiling, where it had really good texture. So
Oh yeah,
personally, if I was gonna play one, I would play the Ultimate Rare. But I get the appeal to the Starlight Rare. Definitely hard to find Ultimate Rares that are in like perfect condition like you can with the Starlight Rares. So I definitely get that point of view as well.
yeah. I feel it. Chamber Dragon Maid. Now I will tell you guys, if you want to get a good Starlight Rare, this is it. Not only are Dragon Maids a fan favorite archetype, and that's no disputing it. Especially not only in the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, but Master Duel is going to have a lot of success when they release their Chamber Dragon Maid structure deck. This card, especially being from Etco, which is a extinct set essentially now, this card will hit $1,000 eventually because of waifu lovers and the two reasons I listed before. $400 here. You got one here for 420, but they go up to 1,300 over here. So make sure to get yours while you can. You think this is a good investment, like I do, or you agree? Disagree?
Definitely, it's probably one of the best Starlight Rares you can pick up right now. I'm blown away that this card isn't like 550 or higher.
Yeah, if you're looking to pull the trigger on something, that's it. Starlight Zeus. Now, believe it or not, I actually have one of these. Not because I chose to get one, but because at an event, when ulti dualities were around 400 something, I was like, you know what? I don't want ulti dual. I spent 275 on my place of ulti dualities a long time ago. I was like, you know what? This is a high rarity card playset that I should invest into, and that was about 70% at the time. It was really fair. It was when I just started vending as well, and I was like, I could hold on to this for a while, or I could what? And this was actually funny enough the original goal. I was supposed to do more deck profiles on the channel, which I'm hoping to bring you guys more deck profiles, but you know you can't do it all. But when I do, I like bringing you guys like high rarity deck profiles because it's nice to look at nice cards. So I picked it up for that, and I ended up just never playing it or never showing it in a deck profile besides like one. And I wanted to get rid of it for a bunch of stuff, and I looked through one guy's binder, and he was a little hard to deal with. He's like, you know, let me see if I can get the ulti dualities without showing him the good binder. You'll have people like that at events. I don't really have to explain those kinds of people further. But when he finally decided to show me the good binder, I was like, huh, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But he did have this, and I was like, you know what? This is like the most meta card out of Phantom Rage. There were about 325 at the time, I think. Right now, they're about 380, but 400, and then they go up to about, give or take, 450, 500 right over here. There's really not that many verified. Like, if we click verified over here, and we look at, like, the near mints, there's not many left. What do you think about this card?
So I definitely think this is undisputedly the highest rarity for sure. I do like this card. I don't think I would buy this card because of the price differential between this and the ultimate rare. Just the ultimate rare is so cheap at like 55, 60 bucks that it just seems kind of like vanity to spend this much more on the Starlight rare. But it is a nice version, and I would understand the appeal of someone to buy this.
So here's what I'm actually going to say. I'm going to say to get this card because when we look at the verify, we're going to look at the near mint, and we're going to ignore the French and German here, right? So you have one listing at 380, one listing at 400, right? Then you have 450. You have 500 if you want to trust someone with 741 sales. On that, 500, 600, then 1,000, right? I feel like if you get this card, by the time you change your mind on it, it's going to be worth a lot more than what you paid for it. You buy it at 380 and you decide to get rid of it, it could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000, right? Say 700, 800. You can't really be upset because if you don't want it, well, you doubled your money. And 300, 400, that helps you pay some good amount of bills. You want to grab ultis from the next OTS set, that 400 is going to help you grab ultis from the OTS set. That's the way I personally see Starlight ZEUS.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will say that like it's low risk. Like it's not going to drop from 380. How long will it take to go up towards that like 500 range? Could be a while, but you're not going to lose money on it at this point.
Exactly. So Dark, the Dark Charmer, Gloomy. By the way, if you guys decide to buy any of these cards on TCG Player that we're talking about, please use my affiliate link down in the description below. It helps out the channel to know there's cost to you. But yeah, Dark, the Dark Charmer. Now, I talked about this card at 100, like 200 or 300. I kept telling people to grab it. I personally was going to grab for 200, then went to 300, and I decided to go to an event. And I ended up getting one for about 140 and about 80, 90 trade.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was very happy with that. And I told people because, if you could play this card and it includes a Dark Monster, then you can take a lot of stuff from your opponent, right? Like, this card could be a very generic reborn from the grave. This is a very strong Charmer. And when Dark came out, we were still, we had Verte Anaconda in the game. We were dealing with DPE as a problem card. And reborning your opponent's DPE, just so you can have it so they don't get the reborn effect, is very crucial. No, this was definitely it was basically a meta out in the extra. Plus, it looks like your typical Yu-Gi-Oh player. Like this would you believe me if I told you this guy's selling what's called Spell Grounds on the side of the road for 200% more than what he paid for it? Because I
Yeah.
Yeah, 550, 800. You got one of these?
I did not pick one up. I actually told people to pick this up when it was like 220, 250, 280, 300, 350, and then even was at 387. I said, if you've missed out this far, believe it or not, it's going to go way higher than this. So I do think people definitely picked them up listening to me, but I personally didn't buy it because I just slowed down in buying at the time.
I understand
I
that.
wish I did though.
I mean, don't we all have like those? I wish I bought this. Man, every card game you're gonna have. So many much of that. You can't win them all. You can't win them all.
I will
Uh,
say this as well. Like, even if I'm saying pick these up, that sometimes I don't pick them up myself because I'm picking so much stuff up already that I just can't buy everything, like you said.
yeah, and
But
then when you get to my level and you're like, it's good. Someone's gonna try to pawn it off on me in IRL. I'm gonna get to see it in person. I'm gonna get faster, and I get for less, so it's whatever. 300 Ultimate Slayer. I think this is pretty good for Ultimate Slayer. Ghost Spell. Now we do have the issue, and we have this issue. It's gonna look like every set at this point, where people are gonna be holding a lot of these Starlights because of the air boxes, right? I think 330 for a Ghost Spell. I told people, hold on. Let's see if it drops down from 400, which it did. It dropped to 300, and now they're starting to slowly go back up. Getting a Starlight Rare hand trap is never a bad idea. Even if it's printed like this, I mean, people need 3-ofs for this, right? It's not bad if you want to grab this. And again, stop me if you actually own one of these Starlights, by the way. Because I'm actually curious to what you
if you
own.
wouldn't mind, I would like to talk about Ultimate Slayer.
Yeah,
If you
go for it. Go for it. Yeah, feel free to
so
interrupt me, jump in, whatever.
yeah, definitely. So I did pick up these secret rares for this card. I haven't picked up the Starlight rare yet, but I do have high hopes for this card going up in value. It's not seeing that much play yet, but I think even if it's not this month or next month, it will inevitably happen. Like, this card is busted.
Yeah.
And I think if for right now, if it doesn't see play and you see this card creep down towards 275, 250, I would scoop them up.
Yeah, I
That's
also want to highlight it's not once per turn.
no.
That is very important. People will assume that, but it's
And you
not.
can't respond to it, which is, so I mean, it's essentially you can't stop it.
Yeah. Unless maybe if you play some like left arm shenanigans, like it's kind of like this. No, literally, like people will be like, "Oh, dude, if you activate like left arm in the same chain link as Super Poly, you could step out." Like first, nobody's playing that card. Number one, number two. Okay, so you found one card. Good job.
Yeah, it's so you say, I'm sorry, realistically,
Yeah.
nothing can stop this.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, okay. He does. I still think, and I'm not saying this because it's your favorite charmer, this is low for it. I still think it's worth to pick these up. I told people pick them at 200, 250, 280, 420, still worth picking up.
Yeah, I agree. I think this will be towards the lower end as far as it's still going to be higher than the Earth one, for sure. But because you just don't see fire really in the meta much, it could pop up sometime and maybe Infernobles come back or whatever. But it's going to be purely collection on this one. You're not going to get much of like a meta player wanting to pick these up.
So I'm actually going to disagree with that. And the reason why I'm going to disagree with that is because one of probably the most popular hand traps in the game, like easily a top 3, is Ash Blossom. And when Salad was a thing, they used to actually take their opponent's Ash Blossom to start linking up to kill you before they had easier ways, to do that. And you can decks can go, if they're playing against a fire attribute, they can make this just to take their opponent's Ash. Like there have been players who their only fire monster's Ash. They'll play it just in case they need a link summon and take their opponent's Ash in their graveyard, right? Just to start linking off and all that. And back when before even Phantom Rage came out, we got the Starlight rare. We were seeing quite a bit of that, especially in Eternal format, where Ash was a must-have card. And I think that if Ash ever becomes a must-have, this card will have applicable play in any deck that you want to. It is a bit cliche, and I think some players are going to forget about it. But that's one big way to use this Charmer without even looking at what fire decks are being played. Does that make sense?
You know what? You're right. I completely forgot that Ash was fire. I was thinking that it was Earth, like Ghost Spell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you then in that case, because Ash Blossom is always going to see play.
Yeah, Starlight Rare Moonlit Chill, 383, and then about $500 here, going up to 1K. What do you think of Moonlit Chill?
Pick it up.
Pick it up?
I like this card. Yeah, because I mean, for one thing, it's Eternity Code, right?
Yeah.
Which was we didn't get a bunch of. I was barely able to get 1 box of Eternity Code. And then besides that, it's still a Ghost Girl, which so you got your collection side, and I actually think that this card's pretty good depending on the format,
Yeah.
because you are able to use it on your own turn, like Effect Veiler can't. So they are special summoning. On your turn, you can use this to like kind of shut them down.
I think that what they should have done with this card is you should have been able to activate its effect by discarding it or sending it to the graveyard if it was on the field. Because people don't realize this, but Ghost Ogre can tribute itself to use its effect. Every other Ghost Girl hand trap can. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
why
that they should have brought that back for Mourner. I would have absolutely loved to see it. Made the card a little more applicable, but what can you do?
Yeah. I still think like in Dragon Link formats or any kind of link heavy formats, this is still good. But regardless of the whole like burn damage, I still think this is just a decent card. But collection wise, I think the artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
And I guess my thing is too. Speaking of Ghost Ogre, is why I love playing emergency teleport with Ghost Ogre, because like if you don't need like the emergency teleport as an extender, you can activate on your opponent's turn, get that onto your field, and then have another disruption, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I see it. Especially if they are scared of your back row, if they try to pop the emergency teleport and they use a resource for it, makes it even better. But
Definitely.
that does give you the risk of if they activate something and you want to activate Ghost Ogre and you have an activate emergency teleport, you're kind of out of luck there. Hopefully I'm hopefully getting a PSA one quite soon for quite a nice price. Something I think I'm very comfortable with.
For Ghost Ogre?
No,
Or
for
Ghost.
Ghost Mourner.
Oh, I'm super jealous. I really want one. I do have a couple of play sets of the secret rares because I am pretty like I do believe in the card long term because I think I got them for like $18 a piece or something. So I'm pretty happy with that.
I spent $6 on mine, and when they went up to 25, 28, I was like, my profit margin's met. Bye bye.
When did you get them for $6?
They were $10, and someone asked how much I'm offering on them. I threw him 6. He gave it to me. He had a place so 18.
I remember right when the card came out, I pulled one in the one booster box that I got. I think it was going for like $30 at the time, right when it came out. And I got somebody to trade that one Ghost Mourner for 3 secret rare Dark Rulers,
Wow.
which is Dark Rulers going for like $11-12 a piece. So I was really hyped about that, especially since I didn't have money back then.
Yeah, man. When do we ever have money? Even when we do have money, it doesn't feel like it.
No.
334 rows here. I think that strikers are a fan favorite archetype. Now, Ignition Assault is hard to find, believe it or not. Like, people actually don't realize that Ignition Assault is hard to find.
It's just old at this point.
It is, and it was a good set for its time. It just when it's a set is a little bit above average, people just don't really care, and it eventually runs out. 333 for your Starlight Roses, very awesome investment here. I also hope you guys enjoy the longer market watches here. Incredible Ecclesia at 283. It's all right. I don't know why these two are blurry and then these are clear. Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. 283 on Ecclesias.
I actually have one of those. I think we talked about us both having one.
Yeah, I pulled mine for my birthday. That was very nice. That was a very good birthday gift.
Yeah. Nice. I think I traded a ultra rare Rite of Air Messier because I had pulled that from an opening and I already had my playset, and I think I gave him what was it, like 150 for it.
Oh, so
I traded it.
Oh, so one right and then 150.
And 150. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, that's worth even right now. I mean,
I already sold it. I sold it for 370.
Oh,
like that.
You made your money back.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't looking to hold that long term right now. I might go back in on it if it goes like 225, but I'm not really interested right now.
I'm upset because I think this is a card that its potential wasn't really met.
No.
It's a big regret, but that's how I see it. Now, Lightning Storms. Now, I told people to get this at 225.
Yep.
And right now it's still very cheap at 310. This is a card that will be in and out of the meta. It'll be just a generic card that a lot of decks will play, especially going second. It's a card that's not going to die from the side deck, I'll tell you that. It's future proofed as well, which a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh aren't future proofed. this is, and that's something very important. You know, you got 340 here. They go up to 600, right? This is a card that will always go up. If you say invest $900 into this as a play set, right? Say maybe 1,000, roughly. I could see you making your hitting about say 2,500 within a year and some change, which is not bad for your money back, right? And it could even go higher. What do you think of Lightning Storm?
I love Lightning Storm, and I remember when this set came out, it was selling for I believe 650 or 750, somewhere in between there.
Anywhere from 450, and then it went up to 600. Yep.
Yeah, I remember it being like in the 600s for a while. And when it came back to 225, I remember I saw that. I was like, this is insane. Like, what is going on? But I remember people had play sets up for sale for 225 each on TCG players. I mean, like, that's a decent deal just to buy into without trying to get any kind of discount, you know. I definitely advocated hard for picking that card up at 225, but even at 310, still perfectly fine.
I got when they were at 285, I think. I negotiated with someone and because he had a playset, and I paid 220 each for them, and that was
that's really good.
So I'm happy with that. Sunny Snitch is used in Exosisters and Artemis Slay. I don't think it's a terrible investment, but it's the kind of card where you should have got earlier, if anything. And I would rather take that 300 and again put in a Lightning Storm or something. This is just not.
Yeah. It's already kind of maxed out. Like if I had it, honestly, I would sell it.
Yeah. AA-ZEUS over here, Earth Charmer, 300. I mean, I think this is fair for the card. I think it's very fair. Would I call it busted? No. I told people to get this at 130 to 140. I said, honestly, just get a playset. You won't regret it. I know I had one subscriber. He had a lot of faith in me. I think he bought 8. He told me. He's like, yeah, man, I believe your words. This was a $400-something card.
Yeah, it went up a lot.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, man, I think he got rid of some. Like, he was really happy with the turnout. Because he didn't have to wait that long. I think he had to wait 6 months. And he bought 8. So, about roughly a $200-something to $300-something return on something you spent 130, 140 on. And you have 8 copies of it within 6 months. I mean, doesn't get better than that, you know?
Definitely. And when you're buying that many copies too, you could sell 7 of them, make a ton of profit, and just keep one to have if you just want it, you know?
Yeah, and you'll be
Which is a nice thing about buying in bulk. You can always just like pay for your own versions if you want to resell.
Yep, that's what I love. It's not that I wouldn't get ASA, but I told people to get it cheaper so many times. I just don't want to tell people to get it again. And if you have 300, get a different card. Like get Hita. Like if anything. Alamuris is 280. I pulled this card. I actually have 2 copies, unironically.
Really?
Yep, but they were 100 something, right? Like very low 100. When I got
my
my
second
copy, and I liked playing this in Traptrix. It's a gorgeous looking card. I don't think it's worth this price though.
No. I played Traptrix as well. I didn't know if you knew that, but
I do. It's just for me. I don't know. I just didn't like when I went first. It just didn't feel as satisfying because it's like, okay, I activate this and then I chain Sarah, and I would always forget if Sarah resolves after your effect or if it chains, and like learning that was a little like difficult for me, if that makes sense. I just don't know why, but I was just like struggling with that. But I played the deck. I won a few locals. It was whatever. What were your experiences with Traptrix?
did pretty good with it. I'm trying to think. I did a couple of different versions. I tried it with the Amazement, which was pretty cool. But
I did not like it with Amazement though. It was a concept that was good on paper.
Yeah, the problem with Amazement is like the chains, like the timing. I will say, just does never work out. Like as far as like when you try, because you have to activate your trap card, then they get to make another play before you can then call again, and then flip their monster face down, for example. So it's like the timing just never works the way you want it to.
That's how I see it as well. Like it just is what it is. I'm
But
gonna try Time Thief.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
because I just remember playing Phantom in mine and getting Time Thief
Yep.
Endure, and it just felt so good.
And Parallel Exceed. Oh,
It was beautiful, right?
I sold my Sarah's though, the secret rares for like 25, $30. I'm just waiting for it to get reprinted because I'm like, I'm not playing this deck realistically right now, so I just
Yeah.
offloaded them.
That's the way I'll be honest, bro. I'm at the point where I have decks built whenever I want to play them roughly, but I just don't have so much
Hmm.
time to play the game as I used to.
Same.
275 for DP, fair price. If you got him at 200, you really won. But Magnifica, let's see what this is realistically. 293, 350 here. It's fine. It could be lower. Maybe it should be lower, but like I just remember this card being stupid when it came out. $800. I was like, what crack are y'all smoking? Like,
Yeah, now.
what vintage values came over here? I love this card just because, and I literally talked about this in my last Mark Watch. My team pulled this in Sneak Peek actually.
But yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and we actually offloaded it for like 350, I think. And it's 380 now, but it dipped a lot after that. I wouldn't invest into it personally.
Mm-mm. I know one of my subscribers, I think it's one of your subscribers as well, picked these up for like low 200s.
Oh, that's
And
not
I
bad.
think they sold it, but I'm not completely sure on that. I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah. 230, 240 on Martha's. That's okay. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I would
Win-
look for it to go lower, but
Wins here. I mean, these will go up for collection's sake, but this card's really bad. I just told people just get the Charmers, and because at least the Charmers are more usable. I don't really care about the vanilla monsters. Like, that's my opinion. What do you think?
yeah, I mean, I agree because it doesn't really follow like the collection class either, but people definitely won't be playing those. Like, I mean, who realistically is playing like the actual Charmers besides just like your Link monsters? I
Yeah,
just think it doesn't have a lot going for it, other than that one's from Rise of the Duelist, right?
yeah.
That's literally the only thing it has going for it.
That's like the one special thing. 240 for your Stratoses, no thank you. Such an awful pick. Such an
No.
awful pick. Frost is a card that's very interesting because this card is used heavily in the deck. It's great, right? They're 300 here. Man, it sucks I got mine stolen. 250, right? This is the kind of card where I'm gonna be frank with you. It's a gamble. It's a big risk. If you risk the biscuit, you could get 3 times your money, or it could sit around 200. But the card's never really dipped. You know, it never really hit 200 or lower, right? It shows consistency, and that's like something I appreciate about the card. And it always tinkers with like between a buyout almost happening or not. I'm shocked you haven't got to any Starlight rares you own yet.
Yeah, well, they used to be. Well, some of them I've sold for one, but some of them gone down in price quite a bit.
Trish's, I hate this. Just get ultis. This was an awful pick. I highly recommend staying away from this.
Yeah, heck no.
Dark Magicians, beautiful choice.
Yes.
$200. It's a collectible card. Ultras, if Ultras can sell for 100, Starlighters can easily sell for 220. I ended up having to get rid of mine for cards I really wanted, sadly, but I'll get you one day, my sweet prince. 175 for your Reguluses. It's not bad actually for a Starlight Regulus. It
No,
really isn't.
I
a
think
bad
that's good.
price. Like, this is a card that picking these up is not bad because Therion is an engine that goes in and out. Right now, it's not super meta relevant, and again, we already knew this with Dimension Force, but we knew that Power of the Elements, the next set, would kick a lot of shit out of the water, and we're at Power of the Elements.
I will say this though before we move on. Punk is completely bought out. If you've seen that, so I would keep an eye on the secret rare Regulus, and I mean potentially maybe the Starlight, but who knows if that will phase back in or not.
Yeah. Live Twin Little Retreat here, 170, 180. It looked, personally, this is one of the most aesthetically good looking cards, but that is biased. The reason I'm saying it's biased is because you're going to have people like me who kind of, like, we're skaters, so this looks like any skateboard, and it looks dope, right? And it kind of reminds me of Pantheon Stocking, which is getting a second season, which I'm really stoked about. But then you'll have people looking at this and thinking, what the hell puked on my Yu-Gi-Oh card?
I
right?
think it looks sick. I like having a lot of colors.
Exactly. Like some people are gonna be like, this looks like tricks are for kids, but tricks are for teenagers. like, I love this card how it looks aesthetically. I like it's. I want it a little bit. 130 for your Osses. Okay, these are dipping really badly. I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, those are like, because those are way worse than Win, because at least Win is like, people like Win, the actual charmer, like the Link charmer, and they also like that it's from Rise of Duelists, but this is from a brand new set,
I mean, like here's the
and
thing.
it's the worst charmer.
So she does have titties, which is nice and is a contender, right? But she looks like a bootleg Velma, and I can't dig it.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
why
feels
I
bad
just
to me.
couldn't do it.
Baron Blossom, again, this is such a good card for so many archetypes that can come out. If you don't have this, is a great investment at 190.
I had two of those.
Really? How many do you have now?
I sold them both when they went up to 285 after people started, like, Tri Brigade got real popular. I bought them for 130.
Oh, well, you made your money then.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's because
yeah.
I played them on because I played Tri Brigade for like 6 months, and I was done with the deck because I just got tired of it. So I'm like, I might as well let these go.
Oh, well, you got,
When they were that high in price.
well, you got your money's worth. Torn scales about 170, 180 here. That's not bad for a torn scales.
I own that card.
Really?
Hmm.
What do you think of it as an investment? Because I'll tell you what my thoughts are.
So this is tough. I honestly think it could go lower before it has any chance of going up, and the reason is it's phasing out more and more. Like, people played Phantom Knights for so long. I guess it was 2021 mainly, where it's like that's everything. Everybody at my locals played Phantom Knights,
Yeah.
and like I was a Phantom Knight player as well, which just sucked. I feel like I heard that was the case with a lot of locals. People were on Phantom Knights. I think people are tired of it, and I just don't see this going up anytime soon. It's a great card. I mean, it's the best starter in the archetype. It's a great card.
I think Phantom Knight could have been a tier 1 deck if Dragon Link didn't exist.
Yep. They were always out like at the wrong time. Like even the beginning of this year, like they were coming towards tier 1, and then we get, Despia, Albaz.
Yeah.
It's like they just always come out. They try to punch through, they just never really make it. But great locals deck if you want to check it out.
Plus, it looks cool.
They do.
It really does. Now, I would stay away from the Starlight Rare, instead getting the Original Secrets, because Original Secrets were anywhere from like $15 to like 35.
30, yeah.
30, 35. Right now, 3.
Pick up 9.
4, right?
I would pick up at least 3 play sets at this price. It's ridiculous.
Actually, it's so ridiculous. I would pick up as much as you want to.
Yeah, just go crazy.
Because you also have to remember, it's 82 listings. It's not too many.
I'm actually going to go order more, because I ordered one play set. I mean, I've always had my secret rares, but I ordered an additional play set when they were like $550, because I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah,
but this is just insanity.
It's very criminal. Don't get the Starlight, get the secret rares, because even if the Starlights go to, say, 200 something, the secret rares are more likely to bounce back and will net you more profit. There's no absolute reason. Like, if you wanted Starlight, imagine if you put, say, 180, right? So I see a near mint here. I see lightly played for 173 here. I see a near mint at direct for 180. So let's say it's 180, for example's sake here. If you, say, get whatever 180 gets you, seeing how, that's 3, that probably gets you around, 60, 70. Phantom Knights, I mean, they do quickly go up to 5, 6, but, you get whatever amount you get for 180. That card, you're probably gonna get anywhere from $450 to $600 worth, and you get it in smaller cards that you could kind of spread out. It's pretty good. Chiaxu at 160, I think this is good. Sword Soul, a lot of people like it, but the card is good outside of Sword Soul. It is a generic card. It just takes in any type of Worm-esque deck. What's it called? Because as a quick effect, you can banish a Sword Soul card or a Worm monster from your hand or graveyard, and then you target effect on the monster on the field. Negate its effects until the end phase of this turn. So in any Worm deck, it's a generic negate, and it banishes so that you could get effects off that. What do you
We'll
think
say
of
this.
Atsu?
I will say this. Being a level 8, I just think it's really not that generic because yeah, you're limited to worm decks, which there aren't that many. And then like its main effect is adding a Sword Soul card. So I mean, again, it's kind of just like it's going to be something playing Sword Soul to some extent. But then again, like you could play like Borlode Savage Dragon. You could play um, Omega. Like there's so many good level 8s you could play that I think this is kind of more limited to Sword Soul than like
I can
other
understand
cards
that.
are. Or Chaos Ruler. You can play Chaos Ruler,
Yep.
mill 5 or 4.
Yep. I think if we get a worm deck that gets effects off banishing, this card could really come back. Or if it's a deck that locks you somehow into worms, depending on how the combo could go. At 160, now I told people to get it at 120, because 120 is a pretty low buy-in for a card that is a generic negate. It's pretty good. Now, if the card was an Omni negate, it'd be better, but it's not, sadly.
Yeah, it's
Illusion,
still a
though.
good card.
Yeah, for sure. Illusion of Chaos now, Starlight Rare. I think that this card will go up, but I'm disappointed in its growth personally. What do you think of this card?
Yeah, I agree. I really want one of these personally. Like, I would really, really like to have one. I do have secret rares, but I really want the Starlight rares. But if as far as growth goes, I think it definitely got hurt because Magician Souls reprint was short printed, which hurt like the secret rare of this and the Starlight rare because more people would have picked up this package if they could get their Magician Souls for like $8 to $10, which is what I was expecting for the card
Yeah,
for the
even like
reprint.
15s, and I think they're like, what,
Yeah.
25 now? 30?
25 lowest. Yeah, I think it's like towards 28 or 30 if you get the actual ultra rare, not the colored. I think you can get
Yeah.
like the red for 23, but screw that.
I don't care about if they have colors or anything or not, personally. It
I
could
like
be
the blue
kind
one
of cool.
actually.
Yeah, blue one's really cool. I would have liked like a purple one personally. I think purple's not bad, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather at this point get the Dark Magicians. You know, but it really sucks that this card's so low. Gaia, it's kind of like it's got that. I'm gonna say what Chansey said about the Wind Charmer. It's got Rise of the Duelist going for it. It's got a little collectability because it says Gaia, but like I spent my
Not
money on
too
something
much.
else. I
Yeah.
mean, it looks super cool. I personally would get this for my collection. We got Unchained Twins, Aruha. I think this is a bad, terrible Starlight rare to have. Now, you could get a near mint for 175 here, and they could go up to 575. So if you kind of want to get these to attempt to short the market, you could. I mean, these are selling right now, so people know things we don't. Obviously, looking at here. But I don't know. I don't know what Unchained is doing nowadays. Alpha's at 200. The OCG's playing this in the side deck a lot right now. And I think that this card is good, depending on what archetypes are out that can utilize it. 200 is not bad if you want to get them, but again, it is a risk. You could just be stuck with the card that stays around 200. I don't think they're going to go too lower than 200, though. What do you think?
I think it's pretty locked in as far as its price. I don't think it's going to go much lower, maybe 175 lowest, but I don't think it's the worst one here for sure because I remember I played this in my side deck when I was playing Tri Brigade and it was just insane. Even if you weren't bouncing your other beast cards, like it was just a free body that you could either like, force a negate or you get one bounce and then you get to put the 3,000 body right back on the field for free. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a good card.
It could get rid of 2 interrupts that way because you could crash it into something you're beat over.
Yeah,
Something.
definitely.
Something. 137 on Kurikara Divincarnation. This card is good. I actually think that it's not bad trying to pick this card up, but we are seeing, a lot of people have this. Get this because if it sees meta play, it'll double overnight.
It's a triple.
Yeah. Gorgon is okay, I'm gonna be honest. This card looks so good. It's just a terrible investment though.
I agree. It's a cool looking card though. I'll give it that.
This card is bad. I'm sorry.
Nope,
It's
too.
just not good. Alba's not bad. I told people to get Albas at 80s, and then they went up to 200s overnight, and then they went to like 150, then 100, then 130. This card bounces everywhere, but right now it's 106 to 112. I don't think it's if you're looking to spend roughly about $110 on a Starlight rare, this is the Starlight rare I'd recommend.
Yeah, I agree. And like right now, Despia is kind of getting a resurgence. It's doing pretty good. And if you're playing Ultimate Slayer, like it's actually they work out really well. Like it just kind of depends on like what the interaction is, like what you're trying to do. But if you're trying to bounce just one card, you can do that with your Ultimate Slayer. Pitch this and get like a poly or get your instant fusion, which could block hand traps once you use your instant fusion, which is nice.
Yeah, like it's really nice depending on what you want to play. I agree for that for sure. What do you think of shooting Majestic Dragon? Now, this card looks gorgeous in person. I'll tell you that. I don't know if you ever looked at one of these, but
I want one. I actually built a Stardust deck because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Stardust. And when you get this card out, this card is a tank. But it's going to be impossible to ever get it out like in an actual game.
funny
But if you're
enough,
just
it's actually not. I'll actually tell you
really,
why. So I do have a friend who's really good with synchros, right? And he gives me his test bills. I want to see. He not only can you play with this build, you will not just make this. You will make two other interrupts. You will make a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, and you can end on a Dragster as well. So Spell and Trap. Your optimal field is a Borreload Savage, with a Link 2. This card, Hot Red Dragon and Dragster. That is the best optimal field, and your opponent really can't play. Like if they have Dark Ruler no more, they sadly can play through the board, but that's kind of really it. And the card's pretty good, and it looks gorgeous.
so
Yeah.
here's what I'll say. It's okay. So I guess I worded that wrong. So I built a deck. It plays this card. You get this out your first turn, and you're making 4 other negates the way I'm playing it. But the problem is if you get hand trapped, it realistically is kind of shutting down getting into this card, although you can make your other negates fairly easily. But that's what I'm trying to say. Is basically interruptions kind of hurt you here.
Yeah, I understand that. Personally, I actually want to play this deck. I really want to.
It's so fun.
Go back to like a type of Seek Rest thing. The droplets / again Dark Lord. So while sadly I explained in the beginning of the video what happened with Streamlabs, Streamlabs also decided to cut out, as you guys probably saw me checking the video a few times here and there to make sure it was going. Unfortunately, I didn't want to have him repeat himself and all that, so I'm just going to finish up the rest of these Starlights very quickly for you guys. At least you're back to decent quality, I guess. So, $100 on Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Now, the reason why this isn't that great of a pick is because this card is not really doing anything right now, and Battles of Chaos is a set that is quite plentiful. You can still find a lot of boxes, a lot sealed. It's not bad for $100, but there's better picks for $100. I think Alba's going to get you more money before Blue Eyes Jet Dragon will. Now, I don't think Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is a bad card to pick up, but it's kind of like, and I'm going to repeat what Chansey said. I call him Chansey. I know it's Cheney, but you get the point. We had a little gag about this at the end of the video, but didn't get picked up, sadly. But, this is like sitting on gold, he said, where it's like you're not going to lose your money. It's just going to go up a little bit here and there. And I think that he nailed the point on that card. Logan, just keep an eye out on what fairy stuff is going to come up. And if it does, you'll see this card go up. Armed Dragon Thunder, again, there's so much Blazing Vortex out there that this is just a Starlight that's a Starlight. It's really not worth picking up. This is hot garbage. Not just because I dislike Salamangreat. Like, I don't hate Salamangreat. I just dislike it. Just a very boring cookie-cutter deck to me. But they don't play this card. Simple as that. Should picked up at 60, 70. The mat looks gorgeous. So while this is not necessarily a bad card, I think that 135 is too much for it. Now, the reason someone wanted me to go over actually my market watches, but I was like, if I'm doing a Starlight video, I'll do it here. Now, the issue with this card is it was about 90, 95, up to 105, 110, and bouncing between that, right? Now, the biggest issue with this card is it got bought out to 180, and now has not sunken back to its original price, which indicates a failed buyout, but has actually sunken lower to $85, which is really sad. This is not a card to hold on to. There's nothing really to say about Storm Dragon's return, but it's literally just an old Starlight rare that Konami was testing it out because it was the first Starlight set they made a bad choice. It's one of the only choices I kind of excuse for them. Perpetual is not a bad pickup. It's a good penny stock, and that's actually what Cheney said as a Starlight penny stock, mind you. Which is just funny because it sounds like a contradicting sentence. If Time Thief ever do anything, this card could go up, and it's not a bad card because of that, but it's more so that for $75, I'd rather get like OTS ultis. Garbage card, I try to have faith in it, but if this card got an errata, it'd be a lot better. Heavenly Zephyr and Bahamut here, I'm going to say the same exact thing for both these cards. They're so specific in the side deck that they're not good. This is just a meme. I didn't realize how bad that card was. Now, Snowl's not a good card either, per se, but at least some builds play one. So for $63, at least it could be used. But this card is not usable outside of Flunderies, which is an archetype that doesn't even use this card. Like 90-something% of players, though. I don't know if it's how situational the card is, because I'm not familiar with Flunderies. So if you're playing Flunderies, I'd love to know in the comment section below. But this, I guess, this is just one of those Starlights that if you pull it, you're like, well, helps make the money of the box back, but you're not happy. Now, the last card, Anti-Human Intelligence, over here is not bad because the Pendulum Effect is a floodgate. Any card that's into graveyard is banished instead, except for monster cards. So, Sky Strikers suffer from this. Any fusion, like Tearlaments, suffer from this. Like, a lot of decks could really suffer from this floodgate. It's not like you have to play this in Pendulums. If you do, it does have a level 0 scale, so it doesn't really mess with any of your other cards or combos if you put, like, an 8 down or something. So, $59 isn't too bad for it, but it is Dawn of Majesty. I'm not too sure if I'd recommend picking this up, but maybe if you want to get the secrets for bucks, you know, it's not too bad. Again, very situational. And being a Pendulum card doesn't do it any favors, because people are always going to see this as a Pendulum card, not just a Floodgate. Because you can literally just play no other Pendulum-esque cards and just play this, for those who don't know, and it's literally a Floodgate that you don't even have to read that much text on it, which is great. But with that being said, guys, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe. You can also search this out, by the way. Again, I'm really sorry for the issues. Go please check out Cheney in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.